Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Marfice Jr., and this is Become the Podcast. How do you become anything you dream, you declare, you commit, and success is your next breath. We listen to the sounds of the symbol of Prince, a genius level talent, and not only is he a genius level talent, but this man was incredibly passionate about music. He was incredible about the idea of self-expression. And early on, when people were just kind of doing sexy on a certain level, when they were doing self-expression on a certain level, Prince came in and blew the doors off the hinges with his sexual energy, his sexual expression. He didn't mind being androgynous in terms of his behavior and having people question his sexuality and all that stuff. He knew that energy is what he needed that energy to fuel his music, and he would not compromise it. And people grew to accept Prince as just that dude that shows up that way. So Michael Jackson was doing sexy in a different way, more so concerned with the entertainment, the music, the dancing and all of that stuff. This genius level talent Prince was doing his thing a different way, and didn't mind setting himself apart from Michael Jackson in this way. And I think it took a lot of passion and a lot of courage to be this mysterious individual with this very unique take on creative and sexual self-expression. And so today's podcast is based simply, why is passion important? Why is passion important? To think that you don't need to think that you don't need to like what you're doing in order to be successful is actually quite silly. You need to like it. Now, here's the thing. You have to be intentional when it comes to passion, because you might like something, right? You may like something, but over the course of time, you're going to get bored with it. So you have to be intentional in making sure that over the course of time that you think about it, you intentionally think about it a certain way. So whether we're talking about a job or a relationship, again, anything can get stale. Anything can get stale. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how fine your spouse is. I don't care how cool whatever it is you're doing is now. At some point, it can get stale. So you have to find a way to remix what it is you're doing in the mind so that it stays fresh, it stays attractive, so that you can continue to enjoy it. Now, that's not an organic process. Every now and then you might find something that is an organic process, but most of the times you got to put forth effort, you got to put forth intention and deliberate work. And that's why we ask the question, how do you want to show up? One, but two, how do you want to think about what it is you're doing? Okay, or how do you want to think about who it is you're involved with? So you have to decide, this is how I want to think about it to sustain that passion, to sustain that love affair. And so we're going to talk about why passion is important, because if you can sustain that love and that passion, that energy, that love affair, whatever you're doing, that's going to help you to grow long-term with whatever you're doing, grow long-term in whatever you're doing. And that's going to help you to become, a success, not only for yourself, but for the people that you're dealing with, the people that you're working with, because that love will pour out and people will feel that energy and they will feel that love. So let's jump into it. What is passion? Passion is the one thing that you would do for the rest of your life to benefit all of humanity. Passion is the one thing that you would do for the rest of your life to benefit all of humanity. Now, passion is the counterpart to genius level talent. When we talk about purpose, you can't have just passion and no genius level talent. You can't have genius level talent and no passion. You got to have both of them. They work together. So what you're looking for when we talk about purpose is you're looking for your highest skill, and you're looking for the thing that you love to do the most. All right, those things go hand in hand. You can't have a genius level talent, right? This incredibly high skill, but there's no capacity or no activity associated with that you can exercise it in. if that makes any sense. And let's say, for instance, you have a passion, you have this thing that you love doing, but there's no specific skill that makes you special. So you need both of them. You need the high level skill, and you also need the activity, and you need both of those together to create your purpose. And that's the key to life. The key to life is to figure out what's my high level skill and what thing do I love to do the most that I would do for the rest of my life to help other people, right? Because something that you love doing may not help other people, right? If you like getting high, right? You may like getting high and it's fun to you. Or if you like drinking, okay, cool. Those things are great, but do they benefit anybody else? So if they don't benefit anybody else, then we can't talk about them as it relates to passion. But if you're passionate, if you're passionate about something, and whatever that is, it helps you to help other people. Now we in business. Now we cooking. Okay, so we're gonna give you the 3 points of I'm gonna give you the 3 points of contact, and we'll get you out of here. So the first thing, I learned this concept when I was at a conference, and it was a person who suffered from drug addiction, and so he was talking about drug addiction, and the way that he described it was. It made me think about passion. And so the question I asked is, well, here's the analogy. The person who suffers from drug abuse or substance abuse gets high, they use, and then they suffer the crash. The crash is devastating. The crash has devastating effects, not only for the user, but for the people associated with the user, right? And even though that crash is devastating, that person still gets high again and again and again, knowing that the crash will be devastating. Why? Because the high is so exhilarating. The high is so amazing. So when we talk about passion, are you addicted to the high that your passion provides? Are you let me go back. So would you do what you love even if you knew you were going to lose? And so as we connected to the analogy of the user, would you do does what you do provide you with such a high that you would do it if you knew you were going to crash? So as I talk about a person who suffers from drug abuse, they get high even though they know the crash is going to be devastating. So do you love doing what you love to do so much so that you would do it even if you knew you were going to lose? If the answer is yes, then you might be working with something. And and I'll tell you why I asked that question a little bit later. Because when you're passionate, you have to love not only the benefits of what you're doing, but you have to also love the crash as well. All the struggle, all the grind, because you're going to experience more grind, more struggle, more heartache and pain than you are going to experience reward. But we'll get to that later. So at the end of the day, I ask you, do you love what you do so much so that if you knew you're going to lose at the end, you still participate in it, you still do it every single day because the high of the high of the activity was so exhilarating, so attractive, so breathtaking, so awesome, so amazing that you do it anyway. Because if you feel about your passion that way, you might be on to something. But if you're not, then you may want to reconsider how you spend your time. All right, so let's move on to point 2. And so point 1 is more so a question. Point of contact number 2 is 2% of people think. All right, 2% of people think, and they think about what would I want to do for the rest of my life to help everyone else? What is so fun and that I would do this for the rest of my life to benefit everybody else? 2% of people are successful, 2% of people are happy because they have identified the activity that makes them the most happy and they converted it into a career. That seems very simple, right? But not a lot of people will take the time to actually think about what it is they like to do. They may think about what feels good. What you like to do and what feels good are two totally different things. What you like to do and what feels good are two totally different things. There's a lot of things out there that feel good. I can come up with a couple things that feel good, but do they help everybody else? Do they put me in a position to help other people? So sometimes, man, that question of what feels good is one thing, right? You can say, I want to get a massage. I want to I don't know. There's several things. There's a whole bunch of things you can come up with. But now I ask you, what do you want to do? Now that's the question that most people, 95% and the 3%, typically aren't willing to think through that and figure out, what do I want to do that's going to help everybody else? What is so fun? What can I do every single day? That question is tough for a lot of people. But that's one of the keys to life. There's a young lady by the name of Aisha Fukushima. She's a raptivist. So it's two words, activist and rapper, right? She's a raptivist. She's a vocalist, she's an MC, and her content is political. I listened to her at the MLK symposium, the MLK Day lecture. There was Harper, and then before Harper was Aisha Fukushima, and she did 2 performances. And she's moving, right? She's moving in this very poetic way. She's singing. She started out beatboxing, and she ended up rapping, and she was doing poetry. The girl is bad. The girl is bad. But here's the thing that was the most impressive about her. I don't know what her skill and her passion is. I got a chance to speak with her very, very briefly, but this didn't come up. But I think her genius level skill is lyricism. She puts words together, right? I think that's her genius level talent. I think her passion is either one of 2 things. Either it's politics or it's music in general. So what's the one thing that she would do every day? She will probably be involved in politics, activism, standing up, social justice. Or it's music. Like, she does music. Like, even if she didn't have a record deal, even if she didn't have a music career, she'd probably be singing in the car. She'd be singing in the shower. She'd be singing on the way to work. She'd just be singing no matter what. And she would take it serious, right? That's what passion is. But I think her genius level talent is lyricism. So this girl is the 2%. Aisha Fukushima, she's the 2%. Because she's taken a genius level talent, she's taken her passion, and she's converted it into a career. And what does she do for a living? She travels internationally taking her talent. She travels internationally taking her talent, taking her ideas, her activism, her levels of awareness, so her advocacy for social justice. She takes this across the world and performs for high level people, huge crowds. For heaven's sake, she was at Michigan. I think she's from California. She was at Michigan. And I'm pretty sure she got a nice paycheck. On the MLK Day, in the MLK Day at U of M is a huge, huge deal. And I'm sure a committee of people talked about her and found her. So clearly she's doing something right. But it all goes back to, she was the 2%. She thought about it, and she thought to herself, how can I make the biggest difference? What's my highest skill, and what do I love doing? Let me see if I can convert that into a career. And if I can convert that into a career, I can help out a whole bunch of people and have a lot of fun doing it. And the last thing is this. If you're not passionate about what you do, then the love, the success, the happiness won't last. You gotta love, appreciate, and admire the craft as much as you love, appreciate, and admire the fun. The F-U-N, the fun. You have to love the crash and the fun just the same. Because you're going to experience a lot of heartache and pain. You're going to experience a lot of, let me change another song. Yeah, we're going to go with I Want to Be Your Lover one more time. To end the podcast. Guess you're going to listen to Little Red Corvette. So at the end of the day, you're going to experience a lot more bumps in the road than you are experience fun, right? So you got to make sure that for every reward you get, there's going to be several times in which you bump your head, and you have to love the bumps in the road, the trials and tribulations as much as you love the fun. Because if you don't, the second you hit adversity, you're going to bail out. You're going to say, I'm out of here. But the great ones, the happy ones, the successful ones, they fight through that. And they love that part. They love the grind just as much as they love the reward. So that's it, man. That's passion. And the 3 points of contact to this. What is your addiction? Is your passion your addiction? Are you the 2% that's thinking, right? And the last thing is if you're not passionate about whatever you're doing, it won't last. That's my time. Mark Fox Jr. Done.